It's hard to believe, but we've reached the end of our liturgical year with the solemnity of our Lord Jesus, King of the universe. In the first reading, we hear that God is shepherd, interesting king. When God is seen by all as a shepherd, he talks about binding up the wounded and all these kinds of things. And then in the second reading, God is related as Jesus, the resurrected king. And in the gospel, God is Jesus as judge over the nations. King of the universe. King of the universe. Now come now, Father John. The whole universe with all, the black holes and nebula and asteroid belts and the possibility of wormholes and all these kinds of things. Father, you've entered the realm of science, and everyone knows that the church and science are completely separated, completely opposed. Well, is that true? Is that really true? I've heard it, and many of my parishioners have heard it from their kids. This is the time of the year where kids come home from college and they know everything, right? And they make sure they tell their parents they know everything, and your faith isn't scientific, it's not logical, all these kinds of things that we hear. Stop and think. Those that say that and those that receive that kind of information, there's an observatory, a big, huge telescope on the peak of Mount Graham in central Arizona. Mount Graham, very high mountain near Safford. What is that telescope? What's the name of that telescope? The Vatican Observatory. Church and science completely opposed. Why would we have and spend money, millions of dollars on a telescope, and at any one time there are 6 Jesuits up there, some priests, some in the order, observing the universe through this incredible telescope? Church and science completely opposed. The Big Bang Theory, know where that comes from? A Belgian Jesuit priest by the name of Georges Lemaitre. What? The Big Bang Theory, it comes from a French priest, Georges Lemaitre. And he surmised that the red shift that we see in the heavens is the planets and, mostly stars moving away from us. It's kind of like the car horn. When you hear it approach, the sound is compressed, and then as it passes by, the sound is elongated. That's the red shift. Who surmised the Big Bang Theory? That everything came from something very, 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 very small, and there was this big explosion that the process is still going on as we speak. A Belgian Jesuit priest. Science and church are, really? The scientific method, where did that come from? Another priest? Father Roger Francis Bacon, a Franciscan. The scientific method, the different steps you take to prove something scientifically, that came from a Catholic priest. So many parents will come to me, say, my kid came home from school says that the church and science are completely opposed. Jesus, the King of the universe, come on. The universe is scientific. Jesus is this made-up thing, or somebody that lived way back and he's not what you say he is. All these kinds of things we hear. But we ask ourselves, when our kid comes home from school, is what he or she is saying is true? I can suggest several books to you. Father Spitzer, brilliant Jesuit priest, blind, has written a book on more scientific proofs for the existence of God. Now, you have to be, if you're a mathematician and an engineer, this is the book for you. I mean, when I flip it open, it's like, whoo, whoo, gone. I find, honestly, St. Thomas Aquinas' proofs for the existence of God easier to articulate and understand. There's another book called Catholic Church and Science. One of St. Thomas Aquinas' proofs for the existence of God. He says that, look at the world and surmise, you have the acorn and the fully grown oak tree. Which one is more perfect? Is it the acorn or the oak tree? They came, right? It came from here. And he said the oak tree is moving from being potential to actuality, from less perfect to more perfect. Therefore, there must be something perfect that it is tending towards, and that one is God. That's just one of his proofs, his philosophical proofs for the existence of God. Friends, let us celebrate today Christ, the King of the universe that has black holes, nebula, gravity, light, darkness, particles, all these kinds of things, perhaps even wormholes, who knows? Let us today celebrate Christ, the King of that universe in which we live.